A pandemic? The very lucrative trade of wild animals in wet markets of the Far East have always had the potential to unleash deadly viruses. It is though the public's health is of no concern when so much money is involved. It is in this light that this latest coronavirus, a more virulent form of phenomena and flu, has spread, infecting thousands of people. This highly contagious virus continues to mount a growing threat to base economies and people all around the globe. Some fear it has reached pandemic levels while others take a more cautious view and haven't yet hit the panic button. The fluidity and mobility of people being able to travel around the world has made it impossible to contain and stop the spread of this virus. But there is hope. With a little education we can prevent more outbreaks of different viruses in the future. There has always been preventative measures to negate the effects of viruses and illnesses. In effect, mankind has failed to put in place the necessary reforms and policies that would substantially reduce the chances that a virus would erupt into an epidemic. It is a known fact that viruses thrive in oxygen-depleted blood cells. So the common sense approach to rid ourselves of viruses is to pump more oxygen into our blood. Today, though, what man has done to the oxygen levels in our atmosphere by way of deforestation, pollution not only by the fossil fuels but the waste we pump into our lakes, rivers and oceans have all contributed greatly to decrease the oxygen levels in the air that we breathe. In essence, the air that we breathe has also contributed to the rise of viruses just because of what we are doing to our environment. There is another concern that affects the spread of viruses, and that is our food that we consume. The food that we have been consuming has been consistently depleted of the many nutrients that our body needs to keep strengthening our immune system. 50 years ago, the food that we consumed was rich in the nutrients that produced more oxygen and vitamins that we needed to ward off colds and the flu. The technologies in farming at that time enabled the soil to replenish itself so that when the crops were planted were done on a rotation basis. In this way, the crops were able to absorb the nutrients from the soil, and then the crops that were consumed had the base nutrients and oxygen that we needed. This is no longer the case today. The industrialization of farming along with what Monsanto Industries has engineered have all contributed to the decline of oxygen and vitamins that our bodies need to help ward off becoming infected with the many viruses, including this current coronavirus. What we forget most often is that as a society we have become less physically mobile. We have allowed machines to do most of the work for us. Physical exercise is essential for a vibrant and healthy life. What made this particular virus so quick to spread is that when people live in close contact with one another, like crowded cities with an open wet market, is a focal point we can't ignore. When people are crowded together, the likelihood of spreading any illness is a certainty if our immune system is anyway compromised. We have seen the rise of tuberculosis in very populated areas all across the country. We also have to consider when people handle wild animals in these open wet markets are risking the health of people around them. This increases greatly the potential for other viruses to spread like this coronavirus and infect whole populations. This is how epidemics start. And, if left unchecked, a global transmission of a particular virus will spread. To stop and eliminate the sources where potential outbreaks like this coronavirus is to ban open wet markets and put in place an unprecedented resolve to implement reforms and policies. To start to eradicate plagues and disease, we have to educate ourselves on the causes. It is up to each individual to fully recognize that an unhealthy and poor hygiene lifestyle is how one can become infected. And that in turn increases greatly the chances that others will also become infected. The habits, the environment, the food, and the air that we breathe all have to be contributors to our health and decrease the likelihood of becoming infected. Too many today breathe polluted air. Too many consume through no fault of their own unhealthy foods. And too many have an unhealthy lifestyle combined with living in close proximity with so many others have made it all too easy for a host of other bacteria and viruses to spread. This has made it just a matter of time before another deadly virus to surface. And when there are open wet markets that sell live wild animals that are handled by an unrestricted population, the next time a virus surfaces and infects one could be far more deadly than this coronavirus. Is it just a matter of time?